Okay. If you knew him, you'd understand that. He's a tough guy to live with. Okay, let's see if I've got... No, this is not what I need here. Oh, you guys went and messed with my computer, didn't you? Okay, is this it? No. Hold on. Okay, there we go. We just started something new that I want to share with you. I don't know if you're familiar with... Anyone here familiar with Ray Comfort? Ray Comfort is an evangelical Christian who, along with Kirk Cameron, started something called the Way of the Master, where they evangelize and they create things. We had a lot of fun season 3 playing with the banana. He is probably most famous, known as the Banana Man, because there's a famous video where he's talking to Kirk Cameron about how the banana is the atheist nightmare. The reason it's the atheist nightmare is not what you would think. I know what you're thinking. Get your mind out of it. Because the banana is so perfectly created for man, for consumption. It has a tab like a Coke can, and it peels back, and it has 5 ridges on it that perfectly fit the hand, and it perfectly fits in the mouth, and it even curves toward the mouth for you to put it in. This was a serious video that he did. What he didn't know is that the banana that we eat is completely domesticated, and all of those changes came about by man. The actual banana, as nature gave it to us, is not edible in any sense that we would have it. So it turned out to be a funny thing. Our newsletter is called The Way of the Mr. to poke fun at Ray, and we have started something called The Way of the Mr. the video series, where we're doing just random things here and there with the Deity ethos, but not quite the cast. So I want to share with you our first episode here. I'll play this. This is about reparative therapy, which I don't know if you know what that is. I'm going to pause this momentarily. Okay, we don't have any sound. What do I need to do with the sound? Can you bring up the sound on this? Anybody? There we go. Okay. And I just want to explain, for people who don't know what reparative therapy, I hope everybody knows what it is. It's the idea that we can change people's heterosexual preferences. And there are psychologists all over the place. Marcus Bachmann, Michelle Bachmann's husband, is one of the people who does this. And it's pretty funny if you get into it and you really research about it. Some of the things that they do is, for instance, they don't allow the men to wear jewelry. They don't allow them to wear Calvin Klein. I mean, there's such a fundamental misunderstanding of what makes somebody heterosexual or homosexual. So we did a little 60-minute style thing about this. I'm going to go ahead and play this. You can bring that up.
Tonight we take a look at reparative therapy, the controversial therapeutic approach based on the idea that one's sexual preference is a choice and can be redirected at will. Though frowned upon by groups like the AMA, the Association of Practicing Psychologists, and the American Psychiatric Association, conversion therapy, as it's sometimes called, continues to be practiced by a handful of Christian therapists who believe that one's natural sexual preference can be sinful. Taking this approach to its logical extreme is Los Angeles-based psychologist and author Dr. Martin Doubletree, whose best-selling book, Pro-Choice, The Laws of Nature and Nature's God, has even some evangelicals crying foul.
To suggest that we don't have a choice in these matters is obscene.
That's the message of this new movement, the idea that human sexuality is far more elastic than commonly believed.
People who say that there's no choice in the matter simply don't know their history. I mean, 4,000 years ago,
there were homosexuals over here and heterosexuals over there. Sexuality, human sexuality, was multiple choice, and men in particular did not limit themselves to one sex or the other. That's an invention, and a rather recent one, historically speaking.
According to Doubletree, this invention has caused untold suffering, confusion, and bigotry towards those who, like him, have dared to question the status quo.
Human sexuality is much more pliable. That being born with certain proclivities doesn't mean that's the only path for your life, particularly if that path is keeping you from enjoying the blessings God has waiting for you.
So you really think the change is possible for anyone, or everyone?
I don't think it. I know it because I've seen it with my own eyes.
Then why do you think this therapy is looked down on by the AMA,
Well,
APP?
because people have been completely brainwashed to think that the way someone is born is their only option. It's a societal brainwash, and quite frankly, it's keeping people from finding the happiness God wants for them.
And that's where Dr. Doubletree gets in trouble with his fellow practitioners, evangelicals in particular.
You're not talking about repairing homosexuals.
Oh, God, no.
You're talking about repairing heterosexuals, turning them gay or bisexual.
Well, you know, I wouldn't put it that way. I would simply say that we are opening a door.
Doubletree claims to have helped hundreds of men and women escape from their strictly heterosexual lifestyles, or as he calls it, monosexuality. These people you've helped, were they closeted homosexuals?
Yeah,
or...
some probably were, but the vast majority of the people we've helped are people who were living these strictly monosexual lifestyles simply because they didn't know they had options.
Those options are, of course, homosexuality and bisexuality, which Doubletree says have been the norm throughout human history.
Well, strict heterosexuality, monosexuality is really just a same-sex detachment disorder.
What about the people who say, I was born this way? I mean, what do you say to a man who says, I've never thought about another man that way?
Well, what can I say? I believe in a transcendent God, and I believe that God wants us to transcend our more base natures and extend ourselves.
Having received his PhD from a school often disparaged as a diploma mill, critics say Doubletree's therapy is nothing more than a mirror of the traditional, discredited reparative therapy practiced by Christian therapists seeking to cure homosexuality. Is it true that you require the men to wear jewelry and won't let them wear anything but Calvin Klein?
No, of course not. That's just silly. I mean, come on. We do ask the men to wear jewelry, yes, but no. They can wear Calvin Klein, Gucci, Prada, Dolce & Gabbana, or Abercrombie.
And you don't allow men to watch sporting events?
For the men, we do have a preferred sporting list. We like them to get a little amateur wrestling, some figure skating, diving, swimming, water polo, anything that celebrates the male form, really. And then for the women, we really do like them to get some golf and softball and rugby, that kind of thing.
Well, who takes to the therapy better, men or women?
We don't have a hard time with the women. I mean, what's not to like about another woman, right? I mean, that's really why men have no problem with lesbians. We understand why they would want another woman. What we don't understand is why they would want us.
Of the hundreds of people Doubletree claims to have cured, only 2 would talk to us on camera. Some have not told their families and friends about their transformations. Others fear reprisals, both personal and professional.
Thank God for Dr. Marty. I mean, this therapy has been my salvation.
Connor Price is a 36-year-old tech reporter who says he never questioned his heterosexuality, but is now glad he did.
As an ex-straight, I'd say that the best part is just having options. I mean, if you're going to buy a lottery ticket and someone says to you, hey, I have a way for you to double your odds, are you just going to blow them off?
But not everyone is cured, and some find the therapy extremely difficult.
Well, I mean, the most difficult part, obviously, is that I wasn't initially attracted to the male organ, but that's where the training starts to kick in. The rubber really helps there.
The rubber?
Oh, the rubber band. They encourage us to wear one on our wrist at all time and snap it every time we have a sexual thought about a woman. It helps. It's obviously it's not an overnight process. It takes time and some trimming.
Kelly Granger is another one of Doubletree's success stories.
I'm not saying that I don't like being with men. I mean, some of them even know where stuff is, but opening the door, that's what Dr. Marty calls it. It's a real game changer. It's like that little boy who he's sitting in the same place for years and years, holding things in, and then one day he pulls his finger out of the dike and things just flow.
Kelly says the idea of connecting emotionally with another woman was a powerful draw.
I'm very attracted to men sexually, but emotionally and spiritually, it was always really hard for me to connect with them that way. And that's not something you can just strap on.
We're simply teaching people here that the monosexual lifestyle is just one of many, and that it's unnatural to stay trapped in any one of them.
We have a saying here, don't bask, don't dwell. And what that means is we want people to be free, we want people to be happy, we want them to reclaim the power of choice.
So in essence, you were saying that there's something wrong with heterosexuals?
Monosexuals, yes, there is something very wrong. But, you know, it's not something that we can't cure. That's the good news.
But not everyone agrees.